Today I want to talk about should you pull for the upcoming character banners featuring Cheerleader, Nice Nature, Cheerleader, King Halo, or the card banner that will feature the SSR Bamboo Memory, a Guts card, or the SSR Seeking the Pearl, the Speed card. This is on the same banner. If this was helpful to you, please remember to like and subscribe. That would help me out in knowing that you guys like this content. We want to see more of it. Also, use code MAMBO for 10% off your gamer subs. Let's get right into it. So, Nice Nature and King Halo. Let's talk about Nice Nature first. So, Nice Nature, very, very cute cheerleader outfit. You have this pretty cool, like, tracksuit jacket, right? As well as a top and a skirt combo with the pom-poms. Very, very cute. Very, very good outfit. And as far as the animations go, let's take a look at her unique skill. And her unique win animation that you get for it. Very cute. Very adorable, especially with their expression at the very end there, right? Lovely outfit. Very, very good outfit for Nice Nature. And do the skills match? Well, let's take a look. Okay, so Nice Nature cheerleader outfit. Okay, we have 10% power, 10% stamina, 10% wit, right? And as far as like the type of racer she is, very similar to the other Nice Nature, obviously the normal original one, in that she is a medium to long distance runner, typically going to be medium distance as you'll see from the skill, and she favors a late surger strategy so she can run pace, and with a lot of effort she can run as an end closer. All right, if we take a look at her unique skill, Go Go Gold. If the user passes another runner on the final corner or later, increase velocity from the mid pack onward on the final straight. If the user isn't one of the top favorites, must resolve to keep steadily increasing velocity. So what does this mean? Basically, if you're not within the top favorite, then you have a higher duration on a speed boost during the last straight. You also have to be in the kind of a late surger-ish position where you're 4 through 6, but on the last straight is a little tough, right? But it happens, right? If you're fine, right? If your popularity, if you're like top 3, then you'll just get a 5-second duration, which is not bad, like of a trade-off, right? I would honestly say like the difference between having lower popularity, which is something you can sort of like, manufacture in a way. It's not really that worth just to get 1 second. Now, obviously this is multiplied by the track length, but this is also a final straight velocity skill. And so I just can't really see a world where you're really trying to get like less than 3 popularity, right? Or rather being number 4th favorite on. When we take a look at it, besides just being on the last straight in the position, you also do have to overtake someone on the final corner, okay? Just to keep that in mind. Now, if we take a look at Nice Nature skills, she actually has quite a bit of tools to overtake other Umas at the final corner. She has Nimble Navigator innately on her kit. She even has Tether, which is a top tier sort of debuff on medium distance tracks, sort of keeping the trend of what Nice Nature is typically known for. We also have Late Surger Savvy, which is okay, it's whatever. We also have on the Awakening skills, Take the Chance, which is basically all in all a medium distance specific late surger acceleration. That's basically what it is. It activates at a nice time in terms of like it's on the late race, but it activates at a random point in the late race, making it not so good, and the cause is like kind of whatever. It is another acceleration skill, however, to sort of cover your bases. Whenever you're building acceleration, you kind of want to layer it and essentially have multiple options to give your Uma a chance to get very lucky, obviously. So 1.2 second acceleration, 0.2, very fine acceleration, but it is random. We have Dominator. Okay, Dominator golden skill version of Tether. Very, very good. Again, another top tier sort of skill for medium distance tracks, top tier debuff skill. You are going to be able to decrease the current speed by a big margin of the enemy girls ahead of you. So very, very good skill. And I would say something you definitely want, right? Moving on, you do have Long Shot, which is to kind of double up on sort of the conditions for her unique skill. Honestly, I wouldn't say you would want to get this unless you have fast learner and there's just nothing else to learn. I mean, hey, if it procs, you have the speed up 40. And finally, you have No Stopping Me golden acceleration skill. Now, I mean, if you haven't played Track Blazer, this might not seem that like crazy to you, but when we are in Track Blazer, there's not a lot of options in terms of getting no stopping me. I don't know how many times you guys watch me stream, but a lot of the times we have to bring cards like Yukino Bijin, an SSR Wit card with barely any stat stick potential. It's very, how do you say, a low potency card. It's not very strong, but it is worth running simply because it has no stopping me. And so having no stopping me innately on Nice Nature's kit makes it so that she has like a very top tier acceleration skill for the position she wants, a late surger, making her very sort of self-sufficient, right? All she needs are just other things, right? She would probably like to get like Slick Surge or some, well, we have Take the Chance, which is really nice. Maybe she wants to borrow Serious Symboli for, from the Brink, gold version of this random acceleration skill, maybe, I don't know. But no stopping me, very powerful acceleration skill. Basically activates when someone is just barely in front of you as you enter the late race, so very likely to get it on the start of the late race and get a huge value out of this acceleration boost. So Nice Nature, is she a good parent? Not so much. It's a sort of last straight velocity skill. Is she a good racer? I would say she's very solid, right? She has a very good hybrid potential in that she has Dominator, she has a very good debuff, she has acceleration, a very top tier acceleration skill for certain tracks. Obviously, no stopping me isn't that great on all tracks, right? For a lot of tracks, no stopping me is very good. And when that is the case, Nice Nature is a very solid Uma, top tier Oshi pick for sure, if not just for the outfit. Moving on, we have King Halo. King Halo in Cheerleader outfit. It's a noble white Cheerleader outfit. Now, if you take a look at this outfit, it's very similar, or not very similar, but basically based off of like male Japanese cheerleader outfits. I don't know if we have cheerleader outfits like this in the West, but you know, Nice Nature, I would say, is probably a more Western take on a cheerleader outfit. We got the tracksuit, we got the pom-poms, we got the two-piece outfit, right? As far as King Halo goes, it's a very traditional male Japanese cheerleader outfit, at least to my knowledge. I mean, let me know in the comments below if I'm talking out my ass. As far as King Halo goes, right, I like the outfit. I think it's very cute, and I definitely love how it merges into a dress. She has a side tail. Very top tier outfit to be sure. Let's take a look at her unique skill and her win animation. Yeah. very masculine cheerleading sort of routine, right? Very cool and funny. King Halo. So let's talk about her as an Umamusume. Stat bonuses: 10% speed, 10% power, 10% guts. That's better than her other form, I believe. Let's take a look really quick. We have 20% power, 10% guts. Definitely love to see having a speed boost in terms of her stat bonuses, right? If we take a look at her aptitudes, she can pretty much run any distance she wants to run in, though along maybe a little more effort, but it's not too bad. On the strategy, she definitely prefers to be a late surger, but she can run as a pace chaser or maybe even as an end closer if she really so wanted. You can see though that she's more suited to be on sprint distance tracks, and I think you will see that in her kit as well. For her unique skill, it says Louder, Trace and Cheer. If the user stays toward the very back during the first half of the race without being rushed. Okay, so we have that sort of clause again from you know, the original King Halo. Unleash Fighting Spirit to increase acceleration on the final straight. Okay, so it's an acceleration unique skill, and yes, it is a 0.4 acceleration unique skill, very similar to Sea and Sky, very similar to Nishi no Flower, very top tier parents. 4-second duration. Now, is this a top tier acceleration skill? Does that make her a very good parent? The answer is no. The answer is no, because if we take a look at the conditions, we have to be halfway past the race. We have to be, you know, in the late surger position throughout the entirety of the race, or at least the first 70% of it, right? And we also have to have not been rushed. These aren't really too big of an issue. It's actually fine. But the final condition, which is last straight, means that this pretty much only activates on the last straight, as almost as you enter the last straight, right? Which does not make it that ideal, because not a lot of tracks have their acceleration, their late race zone on the last straight. And if they do, it's probably clipping at the very end, right? Let's take a look at some of the tracks here. We have Tokyo 1400 meter turf. This is a sprint distance tracks. This is a perfect sort of use case for King Halo's unique skill. Absolutely. This is like probably the best unique skill on this track, or rather the best acceleration skill on this track. If we take a look at Kyoto, you can see that it's a little late. Now, it's not like super late. We have 800 meter to the last straight, which is 870. It is pretty late though, right? And so not ideal. Nakayama, 1200 meter. We have late race over here is 800 meter, but the last straight is going to be at 900 meters. So that's a whole 100 meters you are not accelerating, right? Based off the skill. Hanshin, on Hanshin, okay, you do have late race acceleration over here. It says 800 meter, and then the last straight is 850. So you're only losing like 50 meters, which makes it pretty good on this track, I would say, right? So King Halo, very good unique skill in the tracks that like it. It's not as great as Nishido Flowers. Nishido Flowers, I would say, is still kind of niche. It's like maybe half of the CMs, right? It's good on sprints and miles and like one good medium distance tracks. So it's like very, very usable. Very, not very niche, but it's a very good parent skill. Okay, it's not as universal as Seiyun Sky's unique skill, but it's pretty good. This is even more niche than Nishino Flower's unique skill. And so as a parent, I wouldn't say that King Halo is very valuable, but you know, she has her use case. And you know, if you really want to dominate those, you know, the Tokyo 1400 meter, go for it. If we take a look at her other skills, this is like, what about her other skills, right? We have Spring Runner, which is fine. That's nice. Gap Closer, a pretty nice sprint skill, right? Velocity, sort of mid-race skill. Outer Swell, which actually helps her do her unique skill, because I believe, or rather, I'm sorry, it makes it better, because Outer Swell is a velocity skill that activates on the final corner, and it activates when you are passing another runner on the outside. And what happens is, you're probably, if you're looking at Tokyo 1400 meter, final corner, you're passing over someone, wow, you're gonna get maybe a velocity carryover if it happens late enough into the corner. So that's nice. You get a head start into your acceleration. Very, very cool. If we take a look at her awakening skills, Watchful Mile, this is a mile distance heal, which is kind of whatever. We have Rising Dragon, a late surger top tier velocity skill. Very nice. Final corner, it works very good on long distance tracks. Works very good on very, very short distance tracks too. Anywhere where the final corner isn't like the acceleration zone, Rising Dragon is pretty fantastic. Late surger straightaways, or rather, if the late race is before the final corner. Late surger straightaways is fine. Not the best, but it's fine. And Spring Spectacle is 60 speed and 60 power, so very cool. Rising Dragon is very nice on King Halo. It is the golden version of Outer Swell, and it works very well with her unique skill. The problem with King Halo as a racer and as a parent, there's just not that many tracks that would like, or rather her unique skill is useful in. And so it's kind of hard to build a use case for her, and or rather like to use her on every track. And so King Halo is going to be very, very niche, both as a racer and as a runner. However, her outfit is very fantastic, I would say. And so top 10 out of 10 Oshi pick for sure. Moving on, we have the support cards. Okay, the support cards. So first, let's talk about the SSR Guts card, Bamboo Memory. Bamboo Memory is, long story short, not very good. Okay, her unique effect says the less energy you have, the more friendship bonus you'll gain. So we're still in this like funny little arc that Cygames is currently in. They have like other support cards that have like very unique effects. And Nandita Top Row, the most popular card, for instance, is a card that improves training effectiveness based off how many fans you have. Bamboo Memory improves friendship bonus the less energy you have, which is just like, you're not gonna want to have less energy. You have less energy, you have more likelihood of failing your trainings, and I mean, you're not even training that much on track placer to begin with, so the unique effect is just very bad. Okay, just straight up, it's very bad. If you're at 0 limit break, you have 5% race bonus, which is okay, but friendship bonus is 15, low specialty priority, no training effectiveness, no mood effect, so very, very bad stats as a stat stick. Now, if you're borrowing this card, okay, we have speed bonus, we have guts bonus, we have train effectiveness 10%. Now, that's pretty good. Race bonus 10%. Special priority is pretty high. You got friendship bonus, and you know, whatever this kind of like crunches out to be, I mean, it's more than 20, so it's not too bad. But I would still say, like, as a card you're borrowing, like, it's a guts card on top of everything, right? It's very hard to see most people borrow this card, much less roll for it. We take a look at the unique, or rather the skill hints. We have Outer Swell, very nice late surge velocity skill. We have Mile Straightaways. We have Updrafters, which is a pretty key mile acceleration skill, or rather it's a random one, but it's still pretty good. We have Gap Closer as well, which is okay. Like, skill hints are kind of whatever. We have Full of Vigor as her golden skill, and Full of Vigor says when positioned toward the back on the final corner, increase velocity, which kind of sounds like King Halo wants to run this card. Honestly, it kind of sounds like it's designed for her, right? When positioned toward the back on the final corner, okay, wow. If we have late searcher positioning on the final corner, boom, we get the velocity boost. Boom, we combo with like Outer Swell or Rising Dragon. Boom, we get like a huge velocity boost into that late race. Velocity carryover into that late race is very, very nice. This skill though is very, very niche. It's only for mile distance tracks, and so like, if you're trying to build a mile distance late surger, I guess like King Halo in some cases, this is 400 meter, mind you, it's not even a mile distance. I guess you can see a world where you're borrowing Bamboo Memory. Otherwise, pretty easy skip. Moving on, you have a Seeking the Pearl SSR speed card. SSR speed card with a very unique perk again. We have training effectiveness is based on max energy, which is very not good. I mean, like, come on, think about it. Like, you are just not ever prioritizing gaining maximum energy, not even if this card is giving you extra value for it. Okay, maximum energy just doesn't really have a lot of value inherently, because you're not really going to cap out or max your energy all the time. A lot of the times you're resting and you're probably going to be around 80, 90 energy. It's not going to like be maximum energy. Even on Track Blazer, where you do have like Kale Juice, it's just not good to buy these items. They cost too many coins for what they give, and it's definitely not good just for this card. So I would say that because maximum energy has so little value on its own, it's hard to see anyone getting this card and trying to make a lot of use out of this unique effect. Does anything else like sort of compensate for that? The answer is kind of no. We do have a skill point bonus at 0 LB, which is fairly interesting, but there's no training effectiveness. There's no mood effect. And I mean, like, there is training effectiveness here, and I don't know exactly what number this comes out to be. My guess is it's not very good, and it probably isn't very worth it as well. If we take a look at borrowing this card, you do have speed bonus on top of skill point bonus, but just look, you get initial power. That's not very good. You still have this training effectiveness that hasn't changed. Like, the scaling on this doesn't change the more copies you get or whatever you're borrowing. It's just not going to be very impactful. You only have friendship bonus. You have no mood effect. You have like decent specialty priority. It's just a very mediocre card, especially when you consider it's a 5% race bonus as well. So I don't think Seeking the Pearl is going to be getting anyone to pull for her card, at least based on stats alone. If we take a look at the hints are not very common in Track Blazer to begin with, but she does have Slick Surge. Slick Surge is a late surge or random acceleration skill. Head On is a Pace Chaser sort of random acceleration skill, which is nice. It's great, but it's hints, and it's very hard to target a hint that you want. And if we take a look at the events, Dauntless, when positioned in the mid-pack during the second half of the race, increase velocity and very slightly increase acceleration. This is a late surger velocity skill, and this is not gonna save it, unfortunately. It's cool that you get this velocity boost for sure. The order rate is actually pretty how do you say, it's very, very lenient. Like, you could even be third place as a late surger and still get this speed boost, which is very nice. But it's not going to save this card from the sort of abysmal stats that it provides. Honestly, like, no one's going to be rolling for it. Borrowing it, I mean, this gold skill is not bad, but it's not like super amazing that you would consider running this card over the two like must-run speed cards, right? Or top of the mind speed cards is Machigane Fukukitaru and Nadita Top Road. And then if not those two cards, then Kitasan Black, right? It's just not ever beating those cards and not even coming close, to be frank. Well, if this was helpful to you, make sure you guys like and subscribe and use code MAMBO for 10% off your gamer subs. My name is Rednu, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.